So I've talked about these straight lines and this linear way of designing. And then let's see how it's based on nature. I'm going to draw this upside down, but there's a nautilus shell that looks like this, and it spirals in. And so this whole system can sit on that. So I'm going to draw it lightly and see what happens. So I start at one end, and I hit the middle of that area, and then I'm going to hit the middle of that space, and then the middle of that space, and then the middle of this space, and I'm going to keep moving around until I do that. So that's part of the organic structure of this. So this, you could call this is a curvilinear, curves, and then a linear, straight lines. In this next section, then we're going to use our compass. So compasses have sharp points and draw on the other level. And so using these spots, particularly these power spots, and then any bisecting line, bisecting, I'm going to play around with adding some circles on stuff. So instead of doing arbitrary ones, I'm going to do it so that they're actually related to the space itself. So I put my point on that spot, and then this comes up to the middle of my picture frame. And then the way that I use a compass is I put pressure on this, and then I tilt it, and then I move it around, keeping the pressure on that line, on the point. And that's how I can keep my circle. It looks simple. It actually requires some work. So there's a perfect relationship somehow, because half of that circle is related to that space there. So I could repeat it and just keep the same space on my compass, having unified shapes. I could make larger ones. So then this one, I'm going to open up to all the way to those points and see where that gets me. This is all exploration of space. So then this circle is going to fit perfectly inside of that whole piece. And I'm going to just keep exploring and playing and seeing what wants to happen. So I'm going to draw a bunch of circles here over time, and then I'm going to be putting some pictures and images on top of this. So the main thing is don't draw heavy, draw light, draw light with all of this. So all of these are just explorations of something. I'm just getting a bunch of pencil lines down just to see and be curious. And so now I'm adding a curvilinear line, right? A circle and a square, rectangles, that star shape. So I'm just going to keep working on this. And then the next thing is to transfer some images onto here. So I've already shown how to be using some of the paper, right? The tracing paper. So now I'm going to talk about transferring it. So on my image that I've taken off the computer is whatever you pick, right? So we've got a hummingbird. So I'm either going to use it this way or that way. These are my two choices. One of these ways is where I drew it right off the computer, and there's pencil marks on this side of the paper. And then this one has no pencil lines on the paper. Basically, I need to figure out what side I'm going to use, and then put pencil marks on the other side. So let's say I drew it like this, and now I actually want it this way. So what I need to do is I need to turn it over, and I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm lightly going to draw over my pencil work just enough that I can see it, and I don't want to take too much time. I need to get graphite on the back of this paper, because this is how I'm going to transfer it. So not too much and not too little. This is where it takes your practice. You want to have a four B pencil. Don't use mechanical pencils at all. So here I'm putting enough information down that I can get to it. I got that. Now I'm going to turn it over. You can already see that there's a ghost mark there. I'm going to turn it over, and the best thing is to use a ballpoint pen for this, that I've learned. And ideally you're going to tape it, right? I would tape it to wherever my picture's going to be. So let's say I'm going to, well, I'm going to show you an example here first, and then I'll put it on my board. So the example is that I'm going to then draw this just lightly, and I want to make sure that my hummingbird, that I can see it, right? So that's my transfer. So then over here is where I'm going to figure out where I want my hummingbird, and I'm going to transfer. I'll put the hummingbird's eye right there. I'm going to tape it so it doesn't move, and then I'm going to transfer this by just lightly drawing over.